ImageMaury Wills, left, a league most valuable player for the Dodgers in 1962, and Dave Roberts, the team's current manager, at an old-timers game in July in Los Angeles. CreditCreditStephen Dunn, Getty ImagesLOS Angeles. One day when they were working alone on a backfield during spring training in Vero Beach, Florida, Maury Wills explained to his pupil, Dave Roberts, why they were spending so much time on the intricacies of base stealing. The finer points of gaining a proper lead and studying a pitcher's delivery could help him steal a base. But what Wills, the former Los Angeles Dodgers player who transformed baseball in the 1960s with his base running, wanted to prepare Roberts for was something bigger. Stealing a moment, I said, Dave, one day you're going to be on first base and get the steal sign and there's not going to be the element of surprise, Wills said recently by phone from his home in Sedona, Ariz. Everybody in the ballpark knows you're going to run, the whole country is going to be watching on TV, and the pitcher is going to be on his best with pickoffs, but you've still got to go. Wills added, that is when you're a real base stealer. At the time, it seemed an extraordinary show of faith. Roberts, then 30, barely had 150 at-bats in the major leagues. The Dodgers had acquired him from Cleveland before the 2002 season for 2 minor leaguers, but there were few expectations he would make the team, let alone an impact. Still, Roberts parlayed a strong spring into a spot as the Dodgers' opening day center fielder and leadoff hitter. Roberts stole second base before the Yankees' Derek Jeter could apply the tag in Game 4 of the 2004 American League Championship Series, starting the Red Sox' remarkable comeback from a 3-0 series deficit. Credit J. Jacobson, Getty Images. As I took the field in Game 4 of the ALCS, I had Maury's voice in my head saying, "This is the moment that we're talking about," Roberts said in a recent interview. So without Maury and his talking to me and talking through this, I don't think I would have had the courage to do it. I know Maury was living vicariously through me in that moment. Roberts returned to Yankee Stadium in uniform on Monday for the first time since the Red Sox completed their comeback, this time as a rookie manager for the Dodgers. He wears number 30, as he did when he played for the Dodgers. In a tribute to Wills, Roberts wore no. 31 for the Red Sox. The Dodgers, though they carry the largest payroll in baseball, have seized first place this season in the National League West in an unexpected manner. They trailed San Francisco by 8 games on June 26, then surged despite losing pitcher Clayton Kershaw for 2 months with a back injury, despite having Yasiel Puig dispatched to the minors for a month to straighten out his attitude and swing, and despite tying a major league record by putting 27 players on the disabled list since the season began. We're very unselfish and play as a team, Roberts said. We've gone through a lot of adversity, but there's no excuse making. Our focus has been pretty acute. When Roberts was named the Dodgers manager in November, he was one of the least experienced of the 8 candidates who had interviewed for the job. But his hiring resonated broadly because Roberts, whose parents are African American and Japanese, became the first minority manager for a team with a rich history of integration that began with Jackie Robinson. It's hard to find anyone who was more thrilled than Wills, 83, who flew to Los Angeles for Roberts' introductory news conference. Their relationship began by serendipity. John Boggs, the agent who represents them both, called Wills shortly after Roberts was traded to the Dodgers. Wills was working as a spring training instructor for the team, and Boggs asked him to keep an eye on Roberts when the club began its January workouts at Dodger Stadium. Wills and Roberts quickly hit it off, though the game had changed drastically from when Wills won the NL Most Valuable Player award in 1962, stealing a then-record 104 bases. His expertise in base running and bunting were manna for a player like Roberts who could run and was trying to find his way. Their extra work in spring training led to deeper conversations. Wills, who spent 8 years in the minors before reaching the majors, saw in Roberts a kindred spirit. "You know, the elevator to success is always out of order," Wills said. "You've got to take the stairs. Once I got to the Dodgers, I was so bad I wanted to quit. "I wanted Dave to believe that he could play in the major leagues and he belonged there." Wills attempting a stolen base in 1962 against the Chicago Cubs, with Ernie Banks playing first base. Wills ended the year with 104 stolen bases. Credit Hall, Associated Press. In spring training, when Roberts had been dissuaded from bunting in his first two at-bats, the infield wasn't at the corners. Wills hustled down the dugout to scold Roberts for not bunting, if only to disrupt the pitcher's rhythm. The next at-bat, "I laid down a bunt and got a hit," Roberts said. "Maury was invested not only in the Dodgers, but in me, personally. He really impacted my career." As payback, Roberts invited Wills to spring training in February, when he worked with players on bunting. The truncated field is called Maury's Pit, and Wills was also among the former players asked to address the team. For all the discussions Roberts and Wills have had over the years, they remain in contact with an occasional text. Their talks never turned to managing. Wills said with a laugh that the only advice he could have offered Roberts is what not to do. Wills briefly managed Seattle for parts of 1980 and 1981, a tenure that was characterized by a 26-56 record and an episode in which Wills went out to remove a pitcher only to realize that nobody was warming up in the bullpen. Roberts, who has been unfailingly upbeat this season and quick to address issues with his players that might fester, seems to have won over any skeptics in the clubhouse with a calm, genuine manner. And for a manager with scant experience who was hired by a front office that leans heavily on analytics, he has proved to be his own man. Roberts, center, and Bob Guerin, right, a coach with Enrique Hernandez after he scored a run this month. Credit Kelvin Kuo, Associated Press. Was this season, he has made the unpopular decision to remove a pitcher who was throwing a no-hitter, more recently on Saturday night when he took out Rich Hill, who has been troubled by a blister on his pitching hand, after 7 perfect innings and 89 pitches. But Roberts has not been ridged either. When he went to the mound last month with his team clinging to a 1-0 lead against San Francisco with runners at first and third, 2 outs and the left-handed hitting Brandon Crawford at the plate, he had one thought on his mind: removing the right-hander Joe Blanton for the left-hander Grant Dayton. It was an easy call. Crawford had hit a game-ending home run off Blanton in April. Left-handers are hitting .077 against Dayton. And it was not. As I crossed the foul line, I was looking at Joe and his demeanor, the look in his eye, and I just felt that, in that spot I trusted him, Roberts said. The matchup, the data, can speak to one thing, but you also, as a manager, have to go by instinct and trust your gut. I think for me, I wanted Joe to get Crawford out. I was prepared to live with that decision, whatever the result. Crawford scorched the ball, but right fielder Josh Reddick ran it down. When he did, Roberts thrust his arms in the air, as excited as any Dodgers player. That exultation was reminiscent of that night in Boston in 2004 and all that went into it. When he went in to run at first base, Roberts took a big lead. Each of Rivera's 3 throws over, the final one nearly caught him. He gave a knowing nod, reinforcing to himself that he had the right lead and affirming to everyone in the ballpark that he was about to take off. When Rivera finally delivered the ball to the plate, Roberts bolted to second. Catcher Jorge Posada got a fastball to work with and delivered a strong throw. Derek Jeter slapped down the tag, but it was an instant too late. A signed print of Roberts taking his lead off first hangs in his agent's home. The autograph comes with an explanation of what Roberts was thinking at that moment, echoing the words Wills had imparted on those quiet, empty fields when he was learning to steal a base, and so much more. A version of this article appears in print on page B9 of the New York edition with the headline, "How the Dodgers Manager Learned the Art of the Steal." Order reprints today's paper. Subscribe.